Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. I'd like to have a look at some of the indices, and I'd like to also just point out how the markets all sort of tie together a little bit. So that's my first point. So what I would like to do about that is we've got the S&P here on the weekly chart. So we've got wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And the banks have brought this one down where the Nasdaq didn't come down that far, and this one here has overlapped this one here. So the best count is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and we're seeing a nice strong third wave here. We know that the 5,000 is a big number and will be a little bit sticky, but we should see this third wave finish off here. So from wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside, and this is rather important here because this 3, 4 that's going on here, that's pretty stock and standard through most of the stocks. Now, Apple's not like that, and Tesla's not like that, and there'll be many other stocks like that, but that's generally the gist of it within this particular trend. So we're looking at 1 and 2, and then all the way up here in 5 waves for wave 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth, and fifth up here. Now the banks are like this as well. Different banks are doing different things, of course, but if you just take the leading banks here, this is Morgan's here. So if we look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 overlapping here, so best fit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the third wave up here, the fourth, and the fifth wave up here for the third, the fourth, the fifth here, and this 5 wave sequence, this impulse wave, will make wave 1 of a larger structure to the upside. So this 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here coming into the third wave is just the same as the S&P here as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and coming into the third wave. So we can track the banks like this, and then in this little third wave here, I mean, we can even track Bitcoin like this as well. I'll just move this out of the way here for a moment. So if you take Bitcoin here, because this October low here, November, October, this was the same as the S&P. I think the S&P was late October. So most of them had this low here. So it's the same thing again. It's 1 and 2 here. So this is a bit more intraday-ish here, so it's a bit trickier to follow, but when we look at the S&P here, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and this is the same here as well. We've got 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, and we're coming up here and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up for the third wave here. So we're finishing the fourth wave here, fourth wave going up into the fifth wave of the third here. So obviously there's a correlation between the Nasdaq and Bitcoin. So that's how they're playing out. So in this case here, we'll see Bitcoin do this and this and then this here across the 80, so third, fourth, and we'll see the Nasdaq and the S&P doing the same thing as well. So they're all tied in there. So this third wave here, this is really where the Nasdaq is as well. So with the Nasdaq, we've got an A and a B and a C wave here. There may be one more little move down here. We'll check on that a bit later, but basically 1 and 2 here. We can see that Bitcoin has already sort of made that little move here already for that. So they're all really quite close to each other. Now there can be some slight variations in markets because here we're looking at markets that are leading, but there's always leaders and followers, and there's all those grey areas in between all of that. So anyway, that's just wanted to point out the beginning of the week where we are in that bigger picture for things. Now Apple's a different beast. It's had its own issues, as you know, and we're looking at this in a couple of different ways. We're looking at it as wave 1 up here with an A, B and C wave coming down through here further. There is a count that can have a low in already. So if we get this is for that blue wave 4, that's a 38.2% retracement level. So anything above that, we can go long on that. So we're just seeing how it goes, but otherwise we'll play it out as 3, 4, and 5 down here. Okay, so that's where that is, but we'll just have a look at this closer look here on the intraday. So just bear with me here. We'll go into 1000 ticks. It's a little bit messy in here, but from the top here as an A and a B and a C wave down here, there it's possible to have it the low already in place, so we're aware of that. So this is the 38.2% for the wave 4, so wave 3, 4, and coming down for wave 5 of 3, and then 4 over here for this, and this would be 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 coming down here further. Now if I'm wrong, then we can view this here as wave 1 to the upside, and then an A, B, C for the B wave here, and down for the C wave here. If we see an impulse wave here, we'll sharpen this entry up and we'll bring that down over here a little bit later if we, if we see fit at that point. But nothing to do here just yet, so we can chill on that. And then we come over to Amazon. So Amazon's is the same. I mean, it's the same as, it's got the 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're in that 4th wave here. So it's really the same as Bitcoin. So as 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2, and coming up here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here, and the same with the Nasdaq and so on. So that's what we're looking at the moment with this. So we're in minor group 2 at the moment, so we should stay in that. There may be another little low that will come into play here, but otherwise we'll see this move up from that point. So on the intraday level here, we're looking at it as wave 3 here with an ABC for wave 4, and up for an ABC back here. So we're looking for a little push to the upside on Amazon there. And then we come over to Meta platforms. So I don't need to go into the bigger picture, but basically the same story again as well. We can put wave 3 here. We can actually go on ABC here. So I could put the B wave over here and have wave 4 here. In the aftermarkets, we can look at this as a better structure, as a 5-wave structure to the upside. So we could look at it as wave 1 and 2, but at the same time, we've just been a little bit cautious because we understood that we could have this as a B wave and a C wave to come down here. That means that this would, you can see that this would be a nice 3rd wave here with the 1s and 2s in here. So we could end up getting something like this. If we do see a nice impulse wave up here in the next session, then we'll get a small position here, and then we'll build on top over here as well for this. Okay, but I'll update that in the portfolio, and come over to Nvidia. So the same story again, wave 3 over here. So you kind of know the bigger picture. We're working through wave 4s. Wave 4s are always a little bit, not always, but mostly complicated. So we could do the same thing here again. We could go the A wave here, the B wave here, as we have been, and we can have the C wave over here. But at the same time, we also understood that we could view this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all we need to do is go long here, and we may get a better position here in the next session. So we'll just see how that goes, but that's our long position, and this will be a shorter term trade to the 1000. So it is possible to put that in here, but we want that 900 as a tested support at least, or this top. If this top gets taken out here, then it confirms that this is an A and a B and a C wave at this point. So we'll just see how it goes. It doesn't really matter, I mean, we just be very mechanical about it, so unemotional about that. And then we come over to Netflix, and with Netflix here, we're doing the same thing as well. Wave 3 here with an A wave here. We're looking for a B wave here, and then a possible C wave down here for wave 4, so the same thing as well. But at the same time, if we got breached above here, that means we'd be put into a bullish move with another little move to the upside here. So it's highly likely that we'll stay above the 600 and push to the upside. So we'll just see how that sort of plays out. In the meantime, all we need to do is keep the stop out of the way, so that's all good at that point. And Microsoft here. Microsoft and Google are a little bit different. There is a possibility, instead of calling it wave 3 up here, we could call it wave 1 and 2 here. The same for Google as well. So we had a little impulse wave here, so we went long. We had a little impulse wave here because this could have been an A, B, and C and failed at that point, but now we've got 5 waves up. Now, I could label that a little bit differently now as well, but it doesn't really matter. We can see this here as a little A, B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we should see this work up now as well. The indicators are looking okay with that. We've got a really good support on the 400 here, and we're clicking in new highs here, so we're on the right side of the market. Being on the right side of the market to me is being with the main trend, with the short trend, and above the closest largest number as support. So we'll just do nothing, just need to wait that out, and we'll tying this low in with the with Microsoft as well. So we can look at it as wave 3 or wave 1 in this case, and yeah, so we've got an entry in here early. We could probably bring that, if you wanted to, you could probably bring that stop up on top of the on top of the entry there to get it break even. But we'll just see how the market's going to test that 140 there. That's the closest largest number. It is hitting into supply, but we'll let it squiggle around for a little bit, and it should push up from there. There is different ways to count this up here, so I haven't really sort of bothered with it, but either way we look at it, it is impulsive to the upside, so all we need to do is just sit tight. Now, Tesla is a different situation, bit like, well, same like Apple, different problems though. So in a nutshell, we are looking at this being a little wave 4 here and then a wave 5 to come down here. Now, the other thing with this here too is that we could have it ended here. I can go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5 and have it finish down here. But I also understand too that we could also look at all of this as wave 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, and have another move down here before we finish off down here. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We are not seeing any impulse waves to the upside at this stage, so we don't need to do anything. As soon as we get an impulse wave to the upside, then we'll make a move on that. Alrighty, well that's it. Not a lot to do. There's no real sort of announcements. We've got the Fed speaking in 3 days. Yeah, not a lot there. Some CPI figures. Yeah, nothing really happening on the Monday. We'll check on that for the Tuesday. Alrighty, cheers.